What is happening, everybody? I'm recording this with my new webcam on my new laptop. Hopefully, it comes out pretty well. I want to talk about some happenings in WWE. Yeah, Fastlane, one of the worst pay-per-views I've ever seen. I think everyone can agree to that. I watched GMW's video about it. I watched DSP's video about it. I've yet to watch OTRS or Deluxe Man. Pretty sure they're gonna say the same thing. Same with Wrestling with Regret. I'm pretty sure the popular consensus would probably agree that Fastlane was fucking awful, and not fucking awful because of the match quality, which was and always will be from here on in quite good, because wrestling is becoming more athletic, and it's not about just big guys, body slamming each other and hitting each other with weapons and stuff like that. It's become a little bit about more than that. Now it's athletic based. Now you see them do stuff that normal human beings can't really do, or if they can do it, they need to train for a long time to do it. So, and I'm just gonna gloss over Fastlane because it really only deserves to be glossed over. Okay, this is this was not a good pay per view, and there's a difference between what I think is good and what the common viewer or I would I guess Mark would say is good, and also based on other people's opinions on it and how they view and how they hold in regard pay-per-views in WWE, because the landscape has changed, and with every passing pay-per-view and every TV show that WWE puts on, I'm seeing this more and more. It's not about surprises anymore. It's not about being unpredictable. Now it's about match quality. It's always going to be about match quality nowadays. Okay? That's just the way it is. Right? Let's quick rundown. The first match, which was on the pre-show, Kalisto versus Alberto Del Rio. Of course, Kalisto is going to keep the title because he just won it. And it would not make sense for Del Rio to win because he's had the U.S. title before. He's had the world title before. So why not let a younger guy have it? That'd be Kalisto. Why there was a U.S. title match in the pre-show and not a certain segment, which I'm going to talk about later, is beyond me. Okay, it's just I mean this pay per view is very badly booked. All right, really badly booked. The first match of the actual pay per view was Sasha Banks versus and what's her name? I'm drawing a blank. It was the remnants of Team Bad, which is Tamina and Naomi versus Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch. All right, really cool that a women's title, not a women's title match, but a women's match is the first match of the card. Although, if I had it my way, if I were to rebook this, I would place the Divas Championship title match in the beginning of the card. Okay? This match is, I don't know why they even have this. I mean, yeah, I guess it's to kind of give some continuity explanations as to Sasha Banks leaving Team Bad, and so, Team Bad doesn't like the fact that Sasha Banks left them, and stuff like that, and oh, whatever. And it's supposed to set up uh, an uneasy partnership between Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch, which smart fans like me know that they have background. They know that they work together in NXT. They know that they have some kind of history together where they were friends, probably off screen. You know what I mean? After the show is over, and and during this match, I could not suspend that disbelief to tell me otherwise. It wasn't like, oh wow, this. I mean, their friendship's really in jeopardy now because of my hair being fucked up. Nah, sorry. because of how they conducted themselves during this match. Like Banks and Lynch operated like a tag team. They made whatever tags they wanted to make. It's not like Lynch went to tag in Banks and then Banks like dropped off the curtain. It's not that I mean, if they were to do that to each other, it would have made a lot more sense, especially if Team Bad won, because then it would have been like, oh wow, now I know that Becky Lynch really dislikes Sasha Banks and vice versa. But you didn't see that. This match was predictable as fuck. Every match on this pay per view was mad predictable. Kevin Owens versus Dolph Ziggler. It Why is Kevin Owens going up against Dolph Ziggler for the over 9,000 fucking time? I'll never understand why WWE doesn't take these guys who have been in the independent circuits for close to a decade, over a decade in Kevin Owens' case, 15 years, and push them to the moon and not have him in stupid mid card matches against guys who WWE brings in and are homegrown talents, yet they suck shit, like Dolph Ziggler. I do not like Dolph Ziggler anymore. I don't. I haven't liked him for a year. He's the same guy. He's the same person. He's the same kind of friggin' Shawn Michaels like look-alike. Like Shawn Michaels light, when he could be so much better. When he could go through, I don't know, some kind of gimmick change that he could have a different, I don't know, a different character, I don't know, man. I don't know. The match was good, but I knew that Owens was gonna retain the title because Dolph Ziggler's won the Intercontinental title like on multiple occasions. So who the fuck cares? All right, I forget what happened after that match, and that kind of is a testament to how forgettable this fucking pay per view was. It was awful. One thing I will mention, the Edge and Christian and New Day segment, which, oh my god, it's just, awkward humor is only funny when it's intentionally awkward, okay? And WWE's writers, they don't, they don't understand this concept. Like, all right, Edge and Christian come out to plug their show, their variety show on WWE Network, which was funny. I watched it on Monday morning, but seeing this segment where the New Day and Edge and Christian make fun of each other was, it had intentional awkwardness and it had unintentional awkwardness. Some of it was an attempt at being funny, some of it was unintentional humor. And you would think with veterans and legends, Hall of Famers like Edge, and future Hall of Famers like Christian, hopefully, future Hall of Famer. Or if he's going to work for more matches, who knows? Retired wrestlers, we'll say. Retired guys like Edge and Christian, who in 2000, they were like the kings of unintentional or intentional awkwardness, which led to really like hilarious shit. It's the same with the New Day. Intentionally awkward, but but really funny and entertaining because they're just being themselves. They're just being their eccentric, quirky, awkward selves. Big E Langston. I could really like. I feel like if you met him in real life, he really would be that. Like that. He would be that nerdy, like what The Rock said about him. Like you could see that in real life. So it's not that their characters bad. It's just that their acting is fucking horrible. So, they take some shots at each other, make fun of each other, whatever. It's a lot of, high school, middle school humor, whatever. Nothing that we haven't seen from either group before, which, is kind of funny, whatever. Some of it was funny, some of it wasn't. And then the League of Nations can't come out. And, my heart breaks every time I see Rusev with a group like the League of Nations. Uh, my heart's been breaking for Rusev for the better part of 2015. Because here's a guy who, like, yeah, he's not as built as Brock Lesnar. He's not, doesn't have that look. But he is still a guy who can just kick your ass. And in that latter part of 2014, when he went from the NXT to WWE, he was beating the shit out of everybody. He was like a full-time Brock Lesnar. And then, oh no, John Cena has to beat him and ruin his undefeated streak for no reason at all. None. And now, let me go over Rusev a little bit in 2015. Loses to Cena, gets put in a really fucking horrible love triangle angle with Dolph Ziggler and Lana. Marries Lana IRL. And thanks to social networking, stuff that takes place IRL is going to leak into the stuff that you see in the ring in pro wrestling. Only thing that's really been hidden on a consistent basis is the wrestlers' real names. And even that you can just find on Wikipedia, on IMDb, not IMDb, but on let's see, on anything. You could just Google somebody. Like Roman Reigns' real name was it John Anawaki or something like that from Hawaii? You could just Google that, and there it is. But WWE doesn't understand this shit, and they don't. The internet does not exist to Vince McMahon. It just doesn't. It just he pays guys to be like, yeah, go write this article, go. Let's do what Netflix is doing. Make the WWE network. It'll be all right. So after the love triangle thing, now what? Now Rusev has to lose matches because through no fault of his own, he announced on social networking that he's marrying Lana IRL. So now, oh, that got leaked. Punishment time for you. Meanwhile, Sheamus hasn't been relevant in 6 fucking years. Del Rio, good that he came back. Why he's in the League of Nations, I have no fucking idea. Barrett's on his way out, so he's going to do what Carlito did in 2010 and just phone everything in for the next few months. The League of Nations was a good idea. It reminded me of TNA's fact. There was TNA had a stable that was very similar to it called World Elite, where you saw like a really serious side of Eric Young, and the League of Nations really did remind me of World Elite. I was like, wow, this is going to be a legit group. But not when you have a guy who's been through a fucking shitstorm of a year, like Rusev, a guy who hasn't been relevant since 2012, like Sheamus, a guy who doesn't care about being in WWE, Wade Barrett, who's quitting after his contract runs out, and a guy who's just coming back to WWE to push younger talent in Del Rio. Here's the reason why. Okay, a lot of people have been comparing the League of Nations to the Nation of Domination 1997. Here's the reason why the Nation of Domination worked so well. It had younger guys. The only guy in there who was established was Farouk, and he wasn't really established in WWE in 1998. He was kind of established, 97, 98. The Rock was 25 fucking years old. Mark Henry had been in the company for a year and some change. D'Lo Brown had been in the company for a year and some change. Do you see a trend here? If the League of Nations had younger guys across from Europe and other countries like Japan and stuff, if it had Finn Balor, if it had the Bullet Club, if it had even Cesaro, 34 years old, a year older than me, if it had Cesaro, if it had a Wade Barrett who wasn't jaded about WWE, if it had younger guys who were hungry, who wanted to shake everything down to its foundation, then, then you'd have a legit group. Speaking of foundation, there's another comparison with the League of Nations. The Hart Foundation. Why did the Hart Foundation work so well? It was a whole bunch of guys from Hart who trained in the Hart Dungeon and Brian Pillman. Just because they endorsed Brian Pillman and they saw how good, and it was convincing because it's Brian fucking Pillman, all joining together for one cause, which was to prove that Canada was better than the United States. You don't have that in the League of Nations. League of Nations is just four European guys from either West or East Europe or from South America, like Del Rio, who they're just there. What else happened on Fastlane? The Divas title match, Brie versus Charlotte. I knew that Charlotte was going to win, but it kind of looked there was good storytelling in the match. I'm not going to lie, especially for Brie Bella since she is nothing like her husband. And you know what? If Brie wants to stay with the company, if she wants to stay with WWE, which is questionable, I've heard rumors that she is going to leave when her contract ends, just like Ray Barrett's going to leave because Daniel Bryan has retired. But if she wants to stick around, I feel like WWE should make her take time off anyways to to be with her sister Nikki, who is injured, and to and to spend some time with Daniel Bryan, of course, and repackage her and call her Brie Danielson. We all know that they're married. We all know that Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella are married. We all know that Daniel Bryan is actually Bryan Danielson in real life. He even said that. He even called himself that. I think when he left NXT for WWE, he said, "Oh, I'm gonna be remembered as Bryan Danielson anyways." So it's cool. You know what I mean? So, and I think even in the montages when he retired, they said it had an ROH clip of him being the American Dragon Bryan Danielson. And Brie needs to get in the ring and learn how to work a good match and then come back in and fucking be the female version of Daniel Bryan. That would be amazing. I mean, yeah, Becky Lynch is kind of like that now, and you know, and you have a second coming of Trish Stratus in Sasha Banks, but what the hell? I mean, but what the hell? You can't have enough female talent. And then of course you have Charlotte, who is female Ric Flair, which is great, and now her promos are actually reflecting those of her father, which is excellent. They're actually booking her as a bad guy, bad girl, whatever the fuck, and that's great. So Charlotte retained, no surprise there. And then the triple threat match for the number one contender spot. Right away, I knew I had that predicted ever since Reigns won the title in that Raw after Survivor Series. Actually, no, I predicted it after Survivor Series. Was that Roman Reigns is winning this match? It's a fact of life, guys. Roman Reigns is going to be the man. That's what WWE wants. WWE is the only wrestling company on a big scale that people can watch. They're the only ones that do house shows across the world pretty much 300 days a year. It's their way or the highway. Fastlane pun not intended if it was even there to begin with. Let's talk about that match. let's talk about the final match of the night, the triple threat match for the number one contender spot for the WWE title. Why Triple H holds that fucking title, I have no clue. I did not like it when he won it at the Rumble. Oh, that's right. We had AJ Styles versus Jericho. Yeah. We'll talk about that first. Sorry if I'm jumping around the pay per view a little bit, but I really I didn't care about it. That's why I'm kind of doing a half-assed video about it. Jericho versus Styles. First of all, I understand why AJ Styles why they're putting him with Chris Jericho because no one knows how to work WWE matches quite like Chris Jericho. Since 1999, he's been doing lots of matches for WWE. You know, and since 2012, he's just been kind of doing appearances here and there, doing part-time schedule. But if anyone knows how to get a new guy who has had experience before to work WWE's style of match, it would be Chris Jericho. And match and program, by the way, because they're completely different than other promotions, as small scale as they may be. And this was what, their second, third match, something like that. And it was a good match. Yeah, wasn't bad at all. Jericho showing his age. AJ Styles is not, but that's probably going to end pretty soon. Jericho showing his age. He's 46 years old, 45 years old. It, hopefully they do some more stuff with AJ Styles other than mid-card shit after this match. Hopefully, WWE understands what they have with AJ Styles. They didn't understand who they had with Cesaro. They didn't understand who they had with Daniel Bryan. They didn't understand who they had with CM Punk. They don't understand who they have with Kevin Owens. Okay? They don't, and you know what? I'm going to get a lot of heat for saying this. They don't know what they have in Finn Balor. Finn Balor shouldn't have won the NXT title. He should have went right up to WWE the day he came in. And he should have won either the US or the IC title. Because he's Finn fucking Balor. But WWE does not understand who they have when it comes to talent who come in from independent organizations to WWE. They don't like that anymore. I don't know why they ever disliked it in the first place. Because all their main guys who became a part of the WWE brand, who became, mainstays in WWE, Hogan, even Warrior, Triple H, Steve Austin, who else? Shawn Michaels, Jericho. All of them came from independent organizations for years, or WCW for years before WWE, years. But WWE apparently, because of the monster they created with The Rock and John Cena, apparently they think they can do that with everybody now, and that's been their philosophy for the better part of a decade. Okay, and AJ Styles is no different. What I'm predicting is they're gonna pass him along. They're gonna make him. I mean, it could be also his choice, his prerogative, to put some younger guys over, just like Jericho, because AJ Styles is 38 years old. His shelf life is about a decade, 10 or so years, probably something like that. By 2020, he'll probably be just as part time as Jericho is now. You know, is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? To me, I want to see AJ Styles win the WWE title at least once before he retires. That's just me. I've been watching him for close to a decade. In TNA Wrestling in 2005, his matches against Abyss and Christopher Daniels and Samoa Joe. There's another guy that WWE has passed along, but maybe it's for his prerogative that he wants to put over younger talent. I don't know. But AJ Styles is somebody who can be a main eventer, and WWE really should recognize that with AJ Styles. Okay, the triple threat match. I don't know. I knew Reigns was going to win. I just knew it. I called it before. I don't know. I called it for months. It was a good match. The one thing I learned about that match is Brock Lesnar blows up really fast. Within he was sucking air within 15 minutes. And how beastly is that? They could just run around him and make him come after you. But see, that's the thing, and that's why these matches don't make any sense because you got someone like Brock Lesnar coming at you. Why would you not fight defensively? It's funny because when what they were doing, it's like Lesnar was just beating everyone up and suplexing everybody, right? Suplexing Reigns and suplexing Ambrose. If I were Reigns or Ambrose, and I knew that was in a triple threat match where weapons are legal, I would grab a fucking weapon. I would have a weapon going into the ring. I would get brass knucks. I'd be like, yo, man, brass knucks. Perfectly legal, buddy. Sorry, you should have brought your own, man. Or even just bring a couple sticks, couple of kendo sticks, Singapore canes. I would have been like, here's my shit. I'm gonna hit you with it, cause there's no DQs. But no, they have to wrestle a regular match because Lesnar got blowed up. All right, now he has to take some time off. So now Ambrose and Reigns, double powerbomb him through the table, through one announce table. That's great. Lesnar gets back up, does some more suplexing. So Reigns and Ambrose powerbomb him through another table, and then put table debris all over Lesnar to make sure he doesn't get up. Seems legit. Lesnar gets up anyways. He does some more suplexes. It's all Lesnar does is just punch and suplex. Punch, suplex, Kimura lock. That's all he does. So Lesnar puts Reigns in a Kimura lock. Reigns about to tap. Ambrose says, wait a minute. Oh, that's right. This is a triple threat. I can use weapons. Grabs a chair. This is like a half hour into the match. Hits Lesnar with it. Hits Reigns. Hits Lesnar. Hits Reigns. Hits Lesnar 9 times. Hits Reigns again. Lesnar gets out of the ring. And then Reigns gives Ambrose a spear and pins him after getting hit with a chair a whole bunch of times. It, let me say something for the record. Reigns isn't a bad worker. He's decent on the mic. I mean, okay, on the mic when he doesn't have shit force fed him, when he doesn't have shit that he has to read from a teleprompter, he's okay on the mic. But his predictability is what's getting fans to dislike him. And not and here's the thing. This is why people want to understand. People want to understand, oh, how come Reigns is being pushed so bad? I'll tell you why. I went to a house show, WWE house show 2 years ago, and I went to one last year, both during the summer. Okay, right before SummerSlam. I don't know what Reigns was doing in 2014 before SummerSlam. I think it was right before his injury, but he had a match. I think it was against maybe the Big Show or something like that. And in this house show, he got the biggest pops. Everyone got booed pretty much except him. It was him versus Sheamus, I think, something like that. I don't know. It was something. Whatever. Who cares who he went up against? People bought his merch. Just mostly, parents and their kids. I went to a house show again last year. same thing. He got cheered more than anybody. People bought his merch almost unanimously. Like I saw when I was leaving that house show, there were a lot of Reigns shirts being toted around everyone's around the shoulders of the kids, or kids are wearing a lot of Reigns merchandise. I'll tell you right now, and I don't I'm not a financial analyst on WWE, okay? I'm not. But I will say this. For every one Raw, for every one SmackDown, for every one Superstars, there's at least 4 house shows in WWE. So if my house show experience was like anyone else's, it would make sense for WWE to push Roman Reigns because guess what? He sells the most merch. He When he's on the card in these house shows, people buy the tickets to see him. That's just the way it is. That's WWE has become like not only wrestling, it's become marketing, it's become really shitty movies, it's become its own little brand of social networking. It's become a whole bunch of shit to where if you're when you're featured, the LCD are gonna buy your shit. And yeah, Reigns fans, guess what? They're parents who are marks. They're kids who are marks. If you're a mark, then you're a Reigns fan, right? And they spend more money on him. That's why he's getting pushed. That's why things are predictable. The people who make videos like me and DSP and GMW and Wrestling with Regret and What Culture and the Lexman, Spoonie, all these guys who do all these wrestling commentators, we're a really small an OTRS. I forgot to mention them. We're a very small pocket of WWE fans. Okay, because I'll tell you one thing: when Reigns got booed out of the building at Royal Rumble, those fans weren't there to see Roman Reigns, obviously, but they were there to see everyone else, so they would cheer for the other guys. What fans like myself don't understand: if you dislike something, you ignore it. Ignoring something is the way to to dislike something. You don't just go to a show because you want to see someone but not someone else. If you dislike Reigns so much, then don't go to WWE shows. Don't watch their TV. Watch something else. Go elsewhere. But because you want to see someone else, you're going to have to put up with Roman Reigns. That's just the way it is. That's just how it's going to have to be for a while, or until WWE decides, hey man, maybe Reigns isn't ready, maybe maybe he doesn't sell as much merch as someone else, you know, and everyone has our own little pipe dreams of what we want. But maybe what we want isn't what the consensus wants. Okay? I know I'm talking in circles here. Alright? So that's Fastlane. If you watched it for unpredictable stuff, then you will be beyond disappointed. If you watched it for decent wrestling matches, well, then it's a little bit, it's average. Okay? Is it worth $10? I suppose. But I don't really spend the $10 a month on WWE Network to watch just the live pay-per-views. I like watching the past ones and all the other shit, which they have tons of. You know what I mean? So there you go. Raw last night. The only thing I'm going to talk about is Shane McMahon coming back. Only thing worth talking about. I think WWE understands that WrestleMania 32 is looking really, really bad. Okay? Why is it looking really, really shitty? Because of all these injuries that all these guys have. Orton's got an injury. Cena has an injury. Cesaro has an injury. Rollins has an injury. All these guys who were kind of the lifeblood of WWE, they're all out on the shelf with injuries. And the big question is who's going to be in a match with The Undertaker at WrestleMania 32. For anyone who says, oh, should be Sting, man. It's, Sting's 56 years old. He shouldn't have been in last year's WrestleMania, let alone this year's. When Sting came out, okay? When Sting came to WWE in Survivor Series of 14, the only thing I wanted was for him to just be inducted in the Hall of Fame 2015. That's all I wanted. But no. Let's put him in matches. Let's put him against Triple H so we can have friggin' the NWO and the Generation X. Guys who are all in their goddamn 50s. Yeah, that's what I want to see in WrestleMania. Sure. So Sting versus The Undertaker, yeah, a decade ago that would have been great. 15 years ago would have been fucking money. But now, no. Absolutely not. Never. Who else could go against The Undertaker? Oh, it's good John Cena. Cena's hurt. And I already saw John Cena versus The Undertaker in 2003. Thank you very little. Who else? Orton. Already had a match. Reigns. That would have been cool. But no, WWE has a fetish of Reigns winning the fucking title. Why? Don't know. Oh, that's right, because he sells out house shows. Ambrose? Possibly. No, maybe. But Ambrose had other plans, as was revealed on Raw. Well, I'll talk about that too, I suppose. No, Braun Strowman. Why? Oh, they had a match too at Fastlane. That was also on Monday Night Raw, so who gives a flying fuck? Bray Wyatt already had a match with The Undertaker. The point is, The Undertaker did not have a clear opponent for WrestleMania, okay? So then, alright, so at the beginning of Raw, they had the Vincent J. McMahon Award for whatever the hell, for contribution. Okay. Decent idea. Why it's so different from the Hall of Fame, why it's so different from the Hall of Fame, I have no idea. I had like a kind of a guess as to who was gonna win it. I was like, maybe they're gonna give it to Daniel Bryan because he retired at 35. He put all his asses in seats at WrestleMania 30. He did Occupy Raw, which is amazing. So maybe it's something like that. No. McMahon goes, oh, the winner of it is my daughter Stephanie. Right then and there, I'm like, all right, something's gonna happen here. Let's see what happens. And then Shane McMahon comes out. Holy shit. Okay. His hair is whiter than fucking Vince McMahon's. And he's like 20 years younger. What gives? So, alright. So Shane says pretty much what's on the mind of every other WWE or wrestling commentator. Oh, he said that Stephanie McMahon and Triple H have run the company into the ground. I'd like to argue otherwise. WWE kind of can't be run into the ground because they're the only thing that some people can see in wrestling. So yeah, don't think so, man. But he made some good points. He said, "Oh, look at what happened. Look at what's happened to the ratings. Look at how predictable shit is. Look at all the guys that were on the shelf with injuries." So yeah, and then he proposes that he wants to be the GM of Raw. Okay, they're gonna do the GM thing again. Why? There's no SmackDown belt. There's no Raw belt. It's just one belt. The reason why the brand split worked so well was because it was literally Raw versus SmackDown. But I'm gonna get into that later. So they kind of exchange words. McMahon does his Vince McMahon does this thing like, "Oh, let's talk about this in the back. This is stuff that we need to talk about in the back." He always does that whenever there's something that like involves the administration of WWE, or at least the on-screen administration with WWE. He always says, "Can we talk about this in the back?" It was like when Triple H became COO. You know what I mean? McMahon was like, "Oh yeah, I was gonna talk about this, but I was gonna do it in the back. I was gonna talk about it in the back." You know what I mean? And then Shane McMahon says, "Oh, let me be the GM of Raw." Vince McMahon says, "Well, I'm going to be the. I mean, Raw is pretty much the entire WWE, so you just want to be the GM of WWE." And Shane McMahon says, "Yeah, that's kind of what I want." And then Vince McMahon says, "Okay, cool. You can be the GM of WWE if you or of Raw slash WWE if you can beat the Undertaker at WrestleMania in a Hell in the Cell match." Man, okay, that's how bad WWE is now. Okay, what the fuck? It, what have what have the Undertaker and Shane McMahon ever interacted in a match? I can't remember anything like that. Maybe a couple times 15 years ago during the Alliance era. Maybe when Shane McMahon was in the corporation in 1999. But from like I don't know, from like 2003 on, no. I mean, yeah, okay. Shane McMahon's had matches with Kane. He had that awesome series of matches where it was like it was a friggin' ambulance match, and then it was a first blood match, and then it was uh, a last man standing match. But that was 13 years ago, roughly 13 years ago. Shane McMahon isn't like a carbon copy of Jeff Hardy now. That's what he was. That's what he was doing all those years ago. He was kind of like a carbon copy. He was like Jeff Hardy. Let's do some athletic shit and let's jump around and let's do crazy spots and shit like that. Can Shane McMahon really do that now against a guy like the Undertaker in the Undertaker's home state of Texas? That I don't. Oh, people want to, and people think. I saw that clip on YouTube about it. It's on WWE's channel, which I believe, in my opinion, they should just put full Raws and full SmackDowns on there. They really should. It's they really should. Because it sucks. And everyone's like, "Yeah, man, this is like the Attitude Era again," and I go, "No, it ain't. No, it is not. No, it's not. The Attitude Era is all about brawls, fucking chicks getting naked, and chicks getting beat up, and chicks beating up dudes, and lots of fucking transgender bullshit. Like all the Attitude Era ever was. Okay, and it was about The Rock making doing his catchphrases. It was about Steve Austin drinking beer every night and beating up Vince McMahon every night, and it was about Triple H being a bully. That's all the Attitude Era ever was. And Shane McMahon had very little to do with the Attitude Era. Maybe he had the Mean Street Posse and shit like that. That's fine, but no, No. Why this match is happening, I have no fucking idea. Why can't it be Braun Strowman versus The Undertaker? Braun Strowman's like changing of the guard. He is like kind of a new Undertaker. When he came out, guess what? When I first saw him, I'm like, yeah, that is what The Undertaker did in 1990 and 1991 when he debuted. That's what he was doing. He was saying nothing and beating up everything, But no, let's have Shane McMahon versus The Undertaker. And if Shane McMahon wins, he becomes GM. If The Undertaker wins, then Vince McMahon gets I don't know, gets access to Shane McMahon's assets or something, like a lockbox. Apparently, they're stealing from Al Gore. I don't get it. All right, so the other match that was made for WrestleMania at Raw was Dean Ambrose versus Brock Lesnar. Kind of saw that coming because of the triple threat match they had, where Ambrose hits Lesnar with a chair a million times. And here's the thing with Ambrose that WWE could kind of do with Reigns. And that is make him like this indestructible guy who always gets up no matter what. Okay? So before Raw airs, there's this footage of Lesnar pretty much beating up Dean Ambrose and like F5ing him onto a car. Okay? So Ambrose is at a hospital now during Raw. He was like scheduled to have a match or something. So Heyman comes out, does a promo saying that Brock Lesnar is the main event. He has a title that no one else has, which is like the Beast title. Okay, and then after he cuts a promo, Dean Ambrose drives the ambulance that he was carried away in with his neck brace still on. He comes out, gets out of the car, takes off the neck brace, crawls over to Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar just kind of steps on him and leaves. And then Ambrose goes, "I want you at WrestleMania." To Lesnar. Lesnar takes Ambrose, gives him an F5. Ambrose versus Lesnar. Not a bad match. I'll say that's a really good WrestleMania match. That'd be really nice. And it's also no DQ, so that's going to be insane because we're going to see probably weapon spots. We're probably going to see Dean Ambrose do some kind of crazy shit to Brock Lesnar, and it's going to be fun to watch. I'm going to like it. And then, of course, you have the title match Triple H versus Roman Reigns. No one's going to like this match at all. Why did Triple H need to win the Royal Rumble? I'm glad that Reigns didn't keep the title, but it did really have to be Roman Reigns. Couldn't it have been AJ Styles? Wouldn't that have been awesome? It would have been great if AJ Styles comes in first day of the company and wins the WWE title. That would have made way more history than Triple H winning it for the second time Royal Rumble. Two-time Rumble winner now. And further, my closing comments, whatever. Why was Fastlane even? Why did it even take place? Why did we even need it? It I don't understand. It's like it's I just ugh. It was like seeing Raw or SmackDown only in pay-per-view form. Why was it even necessary? They really needed to have a February pay-per-view. Like, is that really what WWE needed to do? So no. I'm not. I'll be really honest. I'm kind of not looking forward to WrestleMania this year. Last year I was kind of looking forward to it because, as bad as it was set up, Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns was okay. You know what I mean? And all the other stuff was okay as well. It was cool seeing Daniel Bryan come back and win the IC title. That was pretty cool. And all the other shit that happened, really good. Triple H versus Sting, sure, I wasn't really supportive of it, but hell, it at least it happened. But this year's WrestleMania, this is the end of February. WrestleMania is in a month. They have 3 matches. That's it. I mean, yeah, it's gonna be Becky Lynch versus Sasha Banks probably for something. Charlotte versus somebody for the Divas title. Kevin Owens will be going up against probably Dolph Ziggler again for the IC title. I don't know who Kalisto is gonna go up against for the US title, but it I don't I don't know what to say about WWE. I don't know what to say about Shane McMahon challenging about Shane McMahon being in a match with the Undertaker. No build, just like yeah, no one really can fight the Undertaker. What about Shane? Okay, yeah, let's put him in there. So I don't know. It's gonna suck this year. There's nothing else I can say. Anyways, I hope you liked this video. I'm gonna be doing a lot more stuff with this laptop. I'm getting. I need to test the live streaming abilities of it, and I will do that. I just need some time. When I get time off school, when I get on spring break, in a couple weeks, then I'm gonna probably start doing some recording. Um, so yeah. All right. All right. So I hope you had fun watching this slash listening to it, and I will see you later. Peace.